Hey, what's going on, guys? My name is Tom Spark. Welcome back to another video. Today we're talking about my top 5 VPNs of all time. What are my current top 5 rankings? And that's because the last video we did on VPN is my top 5 worst VPNs. So I thought I would cover my top 5 VPNs and give you an explanation of what makes them so good, what makes them my top 5 VPNs. And this will be able to kind of help you maybe make your own opinion on how to look for good VPNs, and maybe even help you understand what I look for when I'm reviewing a VPN and how I review it. So most of these reviews, I'm going to be using the source as my website, just because it's a very good kind of representation of the thoughts that I've had. I've made videos of all these VPNs as well, so if you want to check out the channel. So we're going to go TorGuard, Windscribe, Private Internet Access, IPVanish, and Ghost VPN. And each one, we're just going to look at their review. So first up, we have TorGuard, and if you've been on my channel at all, you know that this is my top rated VPN. But you still might be wondering, well, why is that? It's number one of around 50 VPNs, so it's very good. Pretty much anything you need a VPN for, it excels in. That's the basic explanation. It's extremely fast. It works with Netflix and pretty much every other streaming service due to dedicated and streaming IPs and stuff like that. It's going to work with Netflix if you purchase a streaming IP. It's going to work with Crunchyroll, Hulu, Amazon Video, pretty much anything out there. And not pretty much every other VPN doesn't really sell dedicated and streaming IPs, just because it requires a huge customer support team. And that's also another reason why TorGuard is so good, is that they have a huge live chat team, huge support ticket. I made a video exclusively about their live chat because it's so damn fast. They reply within minutes usually. So very good. They don't have a logging policy, and it's extremely cheap for around $5 a month, just for a 1 month commitment, or $9 if you want to get those streaming IPs. So that's $9 compared to something like ExpressVPN, which is $13 or so. So it's going to be very cheap indeed, and it's really the best VPN here. You don't really sacrifice anything for that cheaper price. So very good VPN. Check out this review if you haven't seen it. If you want me to see me go into more details about it. Next up on the list, we have Windscribe. Now, Windscribe is an interesting VPN because I actually kind of moved it up the rankings within this last year. They're actually an interesting VPN. Funny enough, I actually had someone on my subreddit, r/r virtual private network, talk to me about Windscribe. And basically what he was saying is that he's had horrible experiences with the Windscribe, and talking about how they don't have good customer support. They seemingly kind of ignore him or ignore customer complaints about speeds or whatever. Thinks they're unprofessional. Now, do I agree with that? Well, to be honest, I do. I don't think this company is very professional on Twitter. They're kind of snarky and like to call out other VPNs. They have kind of argued with me in the past about how their firewall is better than any other alternative, kill switch or whatever. I kind of came back and countered that most kill switches, if their firewall works as kind of like a network kill switch, they still don't have an application kill switch, which is also very useful, but they're just kind of a little bit toxic. However, they are still my top rated VPN, my number 2nd rated VPN, because they have really good speeds. They work with Netflix, and they even have an extension that works with it. They do work well with torrenting. They have live chat, although sometimes it seems kind of like it's populated by bots. But since a lot of VPNs don't have good live chat, I kind of give them a little pass there a little bit. They seemingly have good support in my test, but maybe lately don't have good support. It seems like people kind of having problems with it. But another cool thing about it is that it's free to start out, 2 to 10 gigabytes a month, which is pretty good to get a good idea if you like the service. $9 a month or $49 for 12 months. So overall, is it as friendly in terms of customer support as TorGuard? No. Does it have as many extra features like those streaming IPs, other kind of features that TorGuard has, even including like those security features in the app? Well, no. So it's my top rated 2nd VPN on the list for those reasons. Next up, we're going to be talking about private internet access. Now, this is one of those VPNs that does some things really, really well, and then some things that does really, really bad. But it's still top 3 because the things that it does really well are pretty impressive. They're pretty much the cheapest VPN by a large margin, following behind TorGuard. Now, if private internet access had 50% discounts like TorGuard, then it would be even cheaper than TorGuard. But unfortunately, they don't have discounts. But still, without discounts, they're still cheaper than pretty much every other VPN out there at only $6.95 a month or $39 for a year. So very good deal. They don't have a logging policy. Unfortunately, they don't have live chat, and their support forum also kind of got canned. They had both of these things before, which was why they were my higher up rating previous years. But they've kind of downgraded a bit since. They also don't work with Netflix, and around 2016 or so is when that kind of became an issue, where Netflix started blocking VPNs. So before that, they didn't really have the problem, but they haven't really come to that vertical and been working since then. Ironically, one of the people who worked at PIA came on one of my messaged me on Reddit or something saying they do work with Netflix, but I've never been able to get them to work with Netflix. So among these things, there has also been some other concerns like pulling out of Russia, not working in Russia. They kind of have a questionable management team with hiring, Roger Ver on the advisory board, who's a proponent of Bcash, and you know how he operates Bcash. He pretty much kind of took the Bitcoin domain. He kind of tries to confuse people to use his currency instead of the real Bitcoin. So overall, it's kind of one of those VPNs that has a kind of a weird reputation. It's kind of downgraded in the last couple of years. But I still think it's a decent VPN in terms of pricing. It has really good speeds. It's almost comparable to TorGuard sometimes. So there you go. Not a bad choice, really. Moving on down the list, we do have IPVanish. Now, they used to be one of my top-rated VPNs. Haven't really paid attention to them too much lately, and that's because they kind of had an issue where they gave up logs to some kind of, I think it was Homeland Security or something. But basically, it turned out they did collect logs before the newest company that owns them now kind of took over. So the new company, I think it's called, what is it? I think it's Highwinds. I think it's Stack something. So yeah, so it was Homeland Security that they got in trouble with. So in 2017, they were acquired by StackPath, and now the new CEO is saying that they don't collect logs, but they did in the past, and it even said on their website they didn't. So once again, this has kind of set an interesting precedent for VPN on how to perhaps not collect logs. It kind of gives people a lot of suspicion about VPNs and how they collect logs and stuff like that. But in terms of how the VPN is, well, IPVanish has good speeds, decent pricing, around $10. They don't have live chat, but their applications are very good, especially for iPhone and stuff like that. Very solid applications, pretty good speeds. Overall, just a very kind of average but very solid VPN provider. Now, a lot of people don't like them anymore because of the logging incident. But besides that, I would say they're still one of the best VPNs out there. Now, the next VPN up on the list is called Ghost VPN. Now, I'm not going to lie, this is actually the same company as TorGuard, owned by the same company. But it's kind of interesting because the VPN does kind of have a different kind of look and feel to it, as well as even I guess the pricing is the same. But the software, as you can see here, it does kind of have a different look and feel to it. It has the same kind of security as TorGuard and a decently designed website and very good speeds, as you can see here. But Ghost VPN, even though it is owned by TorGuard, just kind of like a different brand, not quite as good as TorGuard, so I don't really ever recommend it that much, even though I do feel like it belongs a place on this list just because it's just as good as TorGuard in a lot of ways. However, it does lack some payment options. It doesn't have live chat. It doesn't have that BitTorrent proxy that TorGuard has. So it's just kind of like TorGuard, just not quite as good, but still pretty much better than a lot of VPNs out there because it does have those really solid features from TorGuard. If we want to go and look up another one, what's behind it? So that would be ExpressVPN. Now, ExpressVPN, I wouldn't really consider it in something that I recommend people a lot because it's so pricey and it's just kind of over-marketed and saturated in VPN review websites. There are some things about it that are really good. I'm not going to lie. It has really good usability. For example, it's extremely easy to start up the app and get through the checkout process. The applications work well. They're not buggy or anything like that. It works with torrenting. It can work with Netflix depending on which servers they have working. The bad thing about ExpressVPN is it's one of the most expensive VPNs out there, bar none. It only has 3 simultaneous connections, and speed sometimes could be a little bit lackluster. Their live chat isn't always online. Seems like it's kind of based in the UK time or something like that. So those are some things that are a little nitpicky about ExpressVPN. Not something I recommend that much because I find these options better for the most part. TorGuard better in every way. And OneScribe probably as well since it's just cheaper and offers same features. But anyways, there you go, guys. That's my top 5 or 6 VPNs or so. Let me know what you think down in the comments below. What are your favorite VPN providers? What are your worst VPN providers? I'll see you again on the next video very soon.